Oh, hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm Timbo Took, and this is the joy of painting Middle-earth, a time when we come together to paint the most fantastic landscapes Middle-earth has to offer, and maybe we'll paint a scary one a time or two. That can be quite fun, you know. Now, I may not be the best painter in the Shire, but I do love it so, and I'd love for you to paint right along with me. So if you're ready, grab your paints and your brushes, and let's go on an adventure. Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Let's get right to our painting today. Now, we've prepared the canvas, and what we've done is we've put a thin coat of that magic white right on top of the canvas. That's right. And why do we use magic white? Oh, because Bob Ross the Blue Wizard, taught us how to do this. It's a wet-on-wet technique. So we put that wet coat down first, and our colors will mix right into it, right on the canvas. There we go. So I've got that down, and I've got an ultramarine blue today for our sky. It's not going to be such a bright blue, not a deep blue like the phthalo blue, but we've got ultramarine blue, we've got some alizarin crimson, sap green, burnt umber, ivory black, cadmium lemon yellow, maybe? Cadmium something. And of course titanium white. Now we're going to go right into this. Oh, just right into our ultramarine blue, using a 2-inch brush so we can just put our sky in quickly. If you have to, put a big old hobbit foot right on your easel and steady it out. There we go. Just come up and whoa, we're just gonna do these crisscross strokes and bring this blue right into our canvas. So you see it's not a very dark blue sky today. We're just putting that in the back. We'll throw some clouds in there. Just get some more blue, start in this corner at the top, and work it down into your canvas. Oh, if you have to, just go right along the top there. There we go. Bring that down. And you'll see where the clouds are going to be forming. You see where it lightens up, where the clouds will be. There we go. Just bring that down. Maybe just a touch more of the blue. Dark in a few spots. There we go. Now, just soften that out. Just use your brush. Not going real heavy there, just lightly. There we go. Then we're going to clean off our brush. We're going to clean this in odorless paint thinner. There we go. Right in our bucket here. And then since we're in the hobbit hole, we're not going to beat the Sauron out of the brush right on the easel. That makes too big a mess in here. I've got a rubbish bin right down here. That's right, just beat it against the sides. There we go. Beat the Sauron out of that brush. Oh, that's a fun part. That's a fun part. Let's put some clouds in there now. And I'm just going to come to a 1-inch brush today. There we go. Just a clean, dry 1-inch brush. And I'm just going to put some white up here. Just take some of that. Put it in a couple spots so when I come back to it, I'm not going to pollute my titanium white I have there. So just load that up on the brush. Come in here and you can see where the clouds, it kind of tells you already where the clouds are. So we just roll those in. There we are. Right there, grab some more of that white. Bring it up. It's a very light sky today. It's one of those days where the clouds just kind of roll past. Oh, you know those days. You know those days. It's a great day, to grab one of your favorite books and sit outside and read. There we go. Now, what are we painting today? Oh, we're going to be in the Shire. That's why this is such a nice place to read. There we are. Get some more, just pick up some more. And you see I got some blue coming in now, but that's not a bother. We've already made a separate pile there. There we go. Maybe right here. Just roll that in. And right up here. There we go. That gives us some clouds. That gives us clouds. Now I'm just going to flip that brush over a little bit. And we're just going to roll these out. Just doing a circular motion right there in the bottom. There you go. And it gives us just some variations. I got some more white, so I'm going to put that in there and just roll that in. Those are just some misty clouds. Leave that top edge. Just don't roll that all the way out. You just want some different shades of the clouds. Some are forming, some are dissipating. There we go. Right up here. Bring that down. There we go. There we go. Just those roly-billowy clouds rolling by. All right, clean off that brush. Clean off that brush. Just set that down off to the side. Now we're going to come back to a dry 2-inch brush. And what we're going to do, we're just going to lift those clouds as if we're the breeze. Just lift it. There you go. And you see that gives a little bit more of a blend together. Just lightly lift that up. There we are. Knock off some of that paint gently that you picked up. And now we're just going to come and soften this out. Just very lightly. You're trying not to smash it all together now. You just want to soften that up. There we go. All right. Now we've got our sky put in. And we're painting the Shire today. But we're painting something that's not from maybe the stories that you've read. This is from my time in the 4th Age, after all the battles and the War of the Ring and all of that. And oh, I'm sorry to say that my Grandpappy Took and my Gruncle Merry they've passed by, they've passed on. And old Grandgaffer Gamgee and Mr. Frodo, they took the boats into the west. Oh, I do miss them. I do miss them and the stories they used to tell about their exciting adventures. But that's all. We carry on and we remember them with our paintings. The stories we make with our paintings and the stories we read in the red book that was left behind. There we go. So what is this? This is the Shire. Oh, back here, there's just some rolling hills in the Shire. So let's just put those in. Put those rolling hills right there. Just with that 2-inch brush. There we go. These are off in the back. Off in the distance. There we go. Just bring those in. And you see, by tapping the brush there, we're just tapping that and it's mixing with the liquid white, that magic white that's on the canvas. And it softens that sap green out a bit for us. And we're going to come in with another hill rolling off this side. Rolling off this side. Now, the Shire is a very peaceful place. And for the most part, throughout time, throughout history, it has been. But there was a time right after the War of the Ring when old Saruman, he came and he burned many buildings in the Shire and imprisoned many people. That's right, they called it the Scouring in the Shire. But, unbeknownst to him, some hobbits who had seen some things. Oh, you know, our 4 hobbits of the Fellowship. They came back to the Shire and they took control. They were great warriors. So in the years since, oh, and some it's objectionable to. They don't like it. They think it spoils the Shire. But some statues have been raised. That's right, of my Gruncle Merry and my Grandpappy Took. That's right. Oh, statues based on those kings of old. And the Argonath. We call it the Shiregonath. That's right, the Shiregonath. It's our warning to others who may enter the Shire and have thoughts that, oh, the halflings might be easy people to conquer. We want to remind them that we have a history of great kings, or maybe not kings, Thains, but, oh, we have great hobbits. And during times of trouble, great hobbits always arise. That's what happens. So I'm going to fill this in. I might do a little hobbit speed, so I won't talk too much. But I'll get this filled in and then we'll go to the details. All right, here we go. Now we're going to put some darker grass here on the bottom. So we're going to darken this up. We're going to use some of our ivory black, maybe a little bit of that burnt umber, and we'll come in, that's right, to our sap green. Just bring that right in there. So we'll come and we'll just tap in. Oh, that's a little black, but that's okay. That just gives us shadows that we can work with. We can go right on top of that and we can put some colors right in there. But we're just going to put these right down here. There we go. All right, we're going to clean off our brush. Now we're going to come back up and we're going to add a little bit more in here. Separating those hills a little bit. And it'll be a little darker right over here. There we go. Just follow the land, the lay of the land. Just follow that along, fill it in. There you go. And remember your oil paints, they're going to dry and they're going to lose a little bit of that color. So if you go a little too dark or a little too bright, after a while when it dries, it'll calm down a little bit. So you can't really go overboard with your color. There we go. So we have that. That's just laid down. That's just given us something to look at in the background. What we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to put a path through here. So we're going to come to one of our fan brushes. That's right. And we're going to go to this burnt umber and load that up on our fan brush. Just squiggle that in. There we go. Now, as I said, there's some hobbits who don't like these statues, and they avoid this area, the Shire, if they can. Some of them don't even believe the stories anymore. Oh, the time has passed, and they think, oh, those are just the old timers, just making all of that up. All right, but we're going to put in our path here. This will come this way. There we go. It comes down just like this. There we go. And this is just a rumble path. So we just put that in. There we are. Let's knock off some of that paint. We're picking up some of our green, so we just knock that off. We come back and we go right back into our burnt umber there. So this just mixes again with the paint that's underneath, and you can see that's just a rough, ruddy path. Oh, it comes right into the Shire there. This way, and then this path even goes off and it goes up this way. There we go. And this just as it goes off, just goes off into the distance there. And maybe comes off this way. And maybe there's part of the path you can see up here. It's lost behind some of those bushes and then just works its way around that way. There we go. There we have some paths. Some paths and things, so we need some trees up there as well. So let's put in some trees. While we have our fan brush and we have that burnt umber going, we can put in some trees right up here on our hill. Just put in the indication of some trunks and things. There we go. We might have one there. Not too many. It's mostly some open pasture, that kind of thing. Here and there's a tree. Oh, maybe one right here. And you just couldn't give them some branches that can be seen, and we'll go and we'll put some leaves on there. Maybe. Oh, let's just get a little on our palette knife. Hopefully you can see this. I hope I'm not blocking you too much. Oh, look at that. Oh, I just come here and we just put just make some tree type things right back here. Not too much, not too much. There we go. And well, while we have that out, let's maybe we can put some fences in the Shire. Oh, because that's something you see. You see fences all over the Shire. Oh, maybe right along the path here. Right along the path. we'll put this guy right here. Come back, get a little more if you have to. Oh, and just remember, those, as it gets further away, those rails, they have some distance between them, but then they get closer together. Closer together as they go away from you. There we are. Just grabbed some more of that. Oh, maybe this guy comes right there. And we, of course, have to put a post on him. And it'll come down this way. Oh, sometimes you pick up more paint than you're putting down. Just go to the small side of that. There we go. If you're putting the paint on there, and it's actually, oh, you can see, we're picking up some green. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know why I'm squinting my eyes. I'm not the one looking at it. But if you can see, there's some green on there. So what we want to do is we just want to come, I've just dipped that in a little bit of paint thinner. Just thinning that paint down a little bit. Because, as we know, a thin paint will stick to a thick paint, not the other way around. So we've thinned it out a little, and we just come back here and you see, oh, look at that. That sticks right away. That sticks right away. There we go. So not only do the rails get closer together as you go farther away, but the posts, they get closer together too. There we go. And that gives you that visual that that fence is running away. There we go. Now, you can put in some hobbit holes and things. Oh, you can take your time in doing that. But we're just going to get back to our trees we have there. I'm just going to clean off my 1-inch brush. And we're going to come to some of that dark sap green that we had. And we're going to just put some leaves right up here. There you see, we just pop those in. Just tap those on. If you swish it, your leaves are all going to mush together. So we just want, and then maybe we just have, just over the hill you can see some of that. There we go. And here as well. Putting in some of those dark leaves, and we can come back and put some highlights on top of those. There we go. And this up here, just again, just tap that in. Just tap. There you go. Just tap it in and bring it. Now you see it starts to get a little muddy there. You don't want that, so don't tap too hard. Don't mush it too much. There we go. Give it a little clean. Now we're going to make a real light green that we'll highlight some of these with. So we're just going to bring some of that sap green down here and go to some of that cadmium yellow. I think that's what we decided it would be. Some cadmium yellow. Let me thin it out a little. There we go. And then just come and we can lighten up just part of that, not all the way. You don't want to ruin it with your highlight. You don't want the whole thing to be highlighted. You want to leave those dark branches underneath, those dark leaves. But you can see it gives you some highlight, some depth, some shadow, all of that in there. There we go. Come back. Same on this one. Just pop that in. There we go. And you got a tree. Look at that. You've got a nice tree. Just with some of that yellow, the brightest color, you just take along the edges. There we go. And then put some of that in there. There we are. There we are. So we have a nice Shire scene. You have some trees, some fences, some rolling hills, and you can go in, you can put details. Now, one of the details that we need to put in, and this detail will give your painting some, it gives it some credibility. So what we do is we want to come down and get this dark green color here. Not just black, but just get it, just thin that up a bit. Just roll it on this small. We've got a liner brush here. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to give a shadow to this tree. So whichever tree we do, you want to watch. And you want to do the shadow in the same direction. There we are. And just those little things will help your painting. There we go. And these little details you can take a long time and do all these little details. But just those little things. Just those little things. There we go. Just put that down. That's some of the forest. Some of that shadow coming out of there. There we go. There we are. Now let's get to our Argonath, our Shiregonath. That's right. We're going to put that in. We are going to put that in right down here. So what we need is, there's two bases that our statues sit upon. And we're just going to come in with some of our ivory black. We're going to mix that up a bit. Mix it with some of our burnt umber. Get some of this alizarin crimson. Now, these statues, they sit on a base right here. There we go. And you don't have to make them perfect. We can come back and hide them in some bushes once we're done. And let's do the other one right over on this side. There we go. There we go. Now that we have those in, like I said, we'll come back and we'll detail those some. But let's grab, let's see, this old filbert brush. This old filbert brush that we have. We're going to use this just to paint in our figures. And then we'll come back and we'll detail them. So we're just going to put the dark down first. Oh, and here's old Gruncle Merry. His mop of hair right there. And these are patterned after the Argonath. So they're holding an outstretched hand, just like the old statues of the kings. Now, of course, these statues wouldn't be quite so big because, of course, they were halflings. They were the tallest of all the hobbits. That's right, they were. They were, because they had drinking. They drunk. Oh, they had some of the Ent draft. That's right. And we just do the silhouette there. But the distinction here is each hobbit holds their shield. And we just put this in their outstretched hand inside of their elven cloaks. Right down to their big old hobbit feet. At least they didn't come back from their adventures wearing boots. If they had been wearing boots, oh, I don't think any hobbit would have accepted them. But they all came back just sporting their old dirty old hobbit feet. That's right. That is right. There is my Gruncle Merry, standing on guard in the Shire. That's right. And of course my Grandpappy Took. Oh, the two of them, they had some adventure, didn't they? Oh, they did. And right here is my Grandpappy Took. his outstretched arm as well. And you can see picking up some colors underneath. So what we can do, oops, I dropped a brush. Let's clean off right here. We're gonna just scrape some of this color out. I know we put in that fence, but sometimes we go, oh, we're gonna go right on top of that. There we go, just scrape that out. Now let's come back to it. Let's come back to it. And he had his shield as well. Now, of course, and many people would always ask, why are their shields different? Well, one was imprinted with the seal of Rohan and the other Minas Tirith. That's right. Gruncle Merry had fought with Rohan at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. And my Grandpappy Took, oh, he was part of the citadel of Minas Tirith. Oh, you know the stories, There's their statues. And what we want to do is we just want to just darken those up as best we can to be shadows for what we put on underneath. And we can shape these statues as they come down. There we go. And we do the same over here. So there's Grandpappy Took's leg. There we go. There we go. Just darken that up a bit. And of course his shield there. And we'll come back and we'll fill in details here. There we are. There we go. Now you see we have our Shiregonath here. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to put some more detailing in there. And we want to lighten that up. So we want a gray, nice gray here. I'm using a skinnier palette knife. These statues are made of stone. That's the look we're going for. There we go. So we're just going to use this and we're going to fill in some details here. All right, we're just going to put in some hair. And this is all a little tedious work. So some of you may have better eyes than me, younger eyes, elf eyes even. So you can put in those finer details a little better than me. But I do what I can. I do what I can. And even when this dries, you can come back in and you can make more details. When the paint's dry a little bit, it's easier to put some more details. You can always do that. Don't think that you're painting just because what you've done in an hour, that's it. That's all you can do. No, sir. Because you put in this light detail and you want to put in a little darker detail over it. But one secret is some of it is putting the paint on and some of it is taking the paint away. There we go. And you just work that in just to give more detail. There we go. And as I said, you can always come back and you put in more and more detail. But here we're just going to go on the edges. They had their cloaks, their elven cloaks on when they came back. And as I said, these statues are very controversial. Some hobbits don't like them being there. They say that's not what the hobbits are about. That's something that men do. Well, that may be. But seeing how my Grandpappy Took was one of them, and my Gruncle Merry the other, I don't mind them too much. No. In fact, I may have been on the committee that commissioned them. That's all right. Oh, maybe that's a little self-serving family pride, which, is frowned upon in the Shire. But that's just the way it was. And you see, you fill in all these details. And these are all just fun things to do. There we go. And when I start to concentrate a little more, when it's a little more difficult, I forget to talk. So just forgive me if I'm a little quiet while I'm doing this. This is the type of thing. Now I can do clouds and I can do trees and I can do streams and those sorts of things, and I don't have to think much about it. But this isn't my specialty. Oh, you know, old Timbo is just having fun, just painting the things I want to paint. There we are. My Grandpappy Took. Oh, and you know those old stories. Oh, well, maybe you know the stories. Sometimes you only heard the stories that my Grandpappy Took would tell. He would get quite adventurous sometimes, and he would make things up. Oh, usually if he had been at the Green Dragon a little too long. Oh, he might tell a story of how he climbed up the tower in Minas Tirith and lit the beacons. Oh, and that sent word to Rohan. Oh, but my Grandpappy Took he'd be in his cups and he'd just be coming up with these things, adding some details, adding some things that people said that, oh, I'd look at my Grandgaffer Gamgee and he'd just shake his head and he'd tell me how it was. But either way, I enjoyed my Grandgaffer Gamgee's history and I enjoyed my Grandpappy Took's little embellishments on the adventure too. So it's all fun. All in good fun. There we go. Oh, Grandpappy Took. Oh, and it's probably a good thing that I wasn't the artist commissioned to make these statues. Oh, because I'm not much of a carver. Maybe a little whittler here. From time to time I do a little whittling with wood. But carving in stone, oh, I have a hard enough time painting a carving in stone. I can't imagine actually doing it. I can't imagine actually doing it. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. And we'll come down with the cloak right over his arm here. And these, you know, these, like I said, if you just want to paint the Shire, just paint the Shire. Just add in more trees and more things. That's fine. That's fine too. And there we go. Just putting in that color, just making that stone color there. There we go. Just put that in. And sometimes these small palette knives are fun just to use and put some detail on there. There we go. Maybe a little more right up here. Oh, it's easier when you're painting trolls. Doesn't matter what your troll looks like. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But when you're trying to paint, oh, somebody that you know, oh, you don't want to offend them. And as I said, as this paint dries, you can always come back and you add more details to the painting. There we go. Now we want to work on that base. That's right. Those are some bricks that are put in. There we go. Now we come here and on my Gruncle Merry's, there's a horse of Rohan. That's what's on his shield, that horse there. Outline that a little more. Maybe even come to some white there. Just work that in. Just creating those lines. There we go. Let's go to on my Grandpappy Took's shield. And it looked just like my apron here, although his was a little more, his was a little more official. And of course we'll come back and we want that to look good. We'll just put that in for now. There we go. And there were the stars on there as well. And we're not going to count them out. We're just going to pop them in. There we go. And again, we can come back. Use some smaller brushes, not just the palette knife. Make those details, put those details in. There we go. There we are. The Shiregonath. That's right, just some great statues there. Now we're just going to take some of this dark color here, and we just want to make these a part of our scene. So what we'll do is we just put some of this brush right along the base. There's some bushes here, and you go, oh, Timbo, those don't look like bushes. Well, they will in just a moment. In just a moment. We're running out of time. Those took a little bit of time there. So we just pop these in. Just put that there. There we go. And come back. Wash off that brush. Let's get some of our green, our yellow. Oh, we want to brighten these up. Wash that brush again. Let's brighten this up with some yellow here. We'll just, oh, a little too thin, but that's okay. There we go. See that? We're just taking it and we just create some bushes that they're growing up around there. There we go. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. That just pushes it back right into the scene. Right there. There we go. That's all there is to it. Now there's a lot more that we can do here. We can put some bushes right over here. Maybe some bushes back this way. Just put some dark down. If you want to do some bushes, it'll push that path right back that way. Wash off that brush. There we go. And then just come right to our green here. Let's see, some of our sap green. There we go. And just put some green in there. Wash that brush. Come back. Put some of our yellow on there. And just highlight that. There we go. There we are. Now, as I said, that's a good start to a painting. Maybe this is one we'll come back to and we'll fill in more details later on down the road. We got a lot of fun things planned. Well, that's it for now, the Shiregonath. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you next time. Goodbye and God bless.